Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We're powered by Advanced Trading. Big show today, big prices. We had the USDA report. We're ripping out of that. We have some headlines overnight. Markets are digesting that. Looking at my quote board, I see an incredible amount of green on the screen. Let's talk about it. Let's get through the show. Then we're going to start calling clients because today is Friday and harvest is really going to get going. And we got to let people know about what these markets are doing. I think you're going to like the quote board. Let's go to LaSalle Street. These corn up 6. No soybeans, not as excited, up 3. They were up a lot more last night. Meal unchanged, oil lower. Here's where it gets exciting. Board of Trade wheat up 19, KC wheat up 16, hard red spring up 14. Live cattle lower, feeder cattle lower. Positive spin on hogs. Yesterday we talked about gold. That gold was hitting record highs, new record highs again, 2605, $2,605 for 1 ounce of gold, up 22. Silver up 83, 2 years, 5s, 10s, 30s, all that good stuff. Interest rates going lower again, and the markets are liking it. Crude oil up $1, $70 crude. We just hit 70. Natural gas firm. Dow Jones up 200, NASDAQ up 20, S&P up 17. Bitcoin's a little lower and copper's firm. Well, we got a wild day going. Let's bring in Connor B. Connor, what are you seeing out there, buddy?
Yeah, happy Friday, right? We're getting through that USDA report that told us we've got a new record on corn yield and a pretty healthy soybean yield as well. So right now, I think the story, Tommy, things I'm looking at is I think we need to talk about the drought monitor, right? We saw it; it came out yesterday. A lot going on, so we didn't really get time. I didn't get time to digest it. But I think there's a story here looking at this soybean crop and the amount of precipitation we haven't got in a lot of areas. Other one we have, looking at that wheat, hearing you quote up Chicago wheat up 17, right? I think that's a little bit this escalation with Russia, right? Russia hit
Yep.
a
Yeah.
civilian
Overnight,
vessel.
there's been some news overnight that some articles came out that it kind of was insinuating that, well, not insinuating that things are heating up, but it's hard to get good quality news out of Russia and Ukraine, and we'll know after it's too late, right? So if we go home and we have a geopolitical event or missiles really start flying, it could affect Sunday nights. But this is the best bounce we've seen in wheat, folks. If you're out there and you have some wheat to get sold, this might be a little chance to clean stuff up, especially people finishing up on spring wheat up here in North Dakota.
Absolutely.
Folks are just getting done, so check those local prices if you need to unload some wheat.
That Ukraine wheat story is kind of twofold, Tommy, because obviously we've got the Russia Ukraine. Are they going to escalate? Right, we know that story, but Ukraine's also not seeing the best weather to finish their wheat crop. Right, it's a little bit
Correct.
dry there,
Correct.
and so that's the other thing. Even the EU wheat crop, right? There could be a story there, but either way, nice to see wheat up 15, 17 cents.
Yeah, and we did have some exports today. We got to talk about that. Always great to see the exports coming out. We'll take those continued exports. That's
Heck
nice.
yeah. 100,000 metric tons of soybeans for delivery to China for the 24-25 marketing year. Keep them coming, Tommy. We want to keep seeing them, right? If we see that delayed planning progress in South America, in Brazil, right, maybe our window of opportunity gets bigger and bigger. One thing I got to say, this ties nicely into our next headline, is we got to remember, I talk a lot about depending on administration, are we going to see more are we going to see more tariffs with China? But here's the truth, Tommy, is we have tariffs going on right now, right? Canada hit them, and US, we see tariff hikes that are going to start September 27th. The only difference is, right, the tariffs are related to electric vehicles, semiconductors, batteries. There might be one more. And so the tariffs have started, right? And it's just a matter is it going to bleed over into grains?
Then we can get in the same fight that our neighbors to the north have, Trudeau, where they did this and hey,
Tip of the
canola,
cap.
buy canola. That really hurt our North Dakota farmers because they were right in harvest. They didn't like the price and they were going to bring it to town. Then overnight, the price got worse. That is still the risk of soybeans. So when I look over my board, sorry, everyone, I'm turning the right a lot. I got a different monitor over there. Beans are only up 1, and it wouldn't surprise me by the end of the show if they're lower. I'll tell you what will bum people out. If you have a corn market that trades lower today, that would upset people. I really believe these rallies are meant for sound right now with everything going on with harvest. But if you sell it, we probably want to re-own it because missiles start flying in Ukraine. We get a weather thing. It's not what we know. we know there's a big crop. We know the USDA says there's good yield. You're in Illinois. We have clients in Iowa who, when they started to become quiet a month ago, we knew there's a big crop. And if you get them one by one, they'll tell you there is. If you get them in a crowd, there's all types of holes and pockets, and we can get out our why the crop isn't there bingo card. But truthfully, one on one, they're like, you know what, things are pretty good. Now, this heat is real. I mean, yesterday here in North Dakota, it was 86 and 50-mile-an-hour winds. That'll change things. They probably weren't too upset about it because they want things to finish up well, but
Right.
it's not over till it's in the bin.
You said it well with the soybean crop. We know what we know. We know yields have potential to be pretty good. It's what we don't know, right? What's going to happen in terms of geopolitical? What's going to happen? Ukraine, Russia, tariffs. Right now we're talking a lot about dryness in South America. We're a little early to the ball game, right? Dry. If I could correlate it to U.S. planning, it'd be like being a little bit dry in February, March. Okay. If we get the precipitation, they get the bean crop planted, we could still have a very good bean crop potential for big acres in that formula, right? Long way to go. We don't know how all those dominoes are going to fall, but we've got potential for a good bean crop. So, right. We need to be playing for both of them, but yeah, we'll keep watching that one.
I think the balance sheets could change quickly, and to have that much, not that the half bushel per acre corn yield going up, but the way the market traded, the down 7, up 2, down 5, up 2, gap open higher and go, or open unchanged and go. That's incredibly great price action for something that so many people would say is extremely bearish. So we'll see.
Yeah. Good comment there, Tony. The market has a wicked sense of humor, and it's not a team player. Talking tariffs. You know what? I would say generally, I'm free trade guy, but when we look at soybean, we look at tariffs. A tariff that could help the soybean market is this used cooking oil story, Tommy. Right? It'd be interesting to see. Brady and I talked about how Secretary Vilsack said the renewable fuels mandate. Right? We're going to get something by the end of the year is what he came out and said earlier this week. If we really want to help renewable fuels, I think we get the used cooking oil that's imported from China out of here. That's going to benefit it as much as anything, right? But we'll see. Long way to go there.
Yeah, we got to talk Mississippi River, something that's been flying around the office a lot, just charts on the Mississippi River. And that was a problem a few years ago, really threw the markets for a ride when that river all of a sudden became really, really low at harvest. We did have that storm that came up through the Delta. It probably didn't make it to you. Did it rain by you or just get cloudy? It looks like it was bringing some energy your way, but not necessarily moisture, correct?
We're getting it rained. It sprinkled, I guess I should say, here this morning, but nothing earlier in the week, Tommy.
Right, and we do have storms coming up here up north. I did weather this morning with Mick, and he was going over that real quick. Let's talk premium real quick before we get to a couple questions. Yesterday, I did premium, talked about what a great reaction in the markets. It wasn't what the USDA said. It was the bearish USDA, the bullish reaction, and now matching that up with today's price action, it makes a little more sense. Maybe there's a lot smarter people than us out there who knew there was a geopolitical problem brewing yesterday. So if you think you're watching this show and getting all the up-to-date information, we have access to the same information you do. But there are still people in the world who have been hinting that things are very, very stressful situation. Again, it always is stressful in Ukraine, Russia, but even heightened. So that was yesterday's premium. This morning, had a video with Mick Care. Mick talking weather, talked about how the Dakotas, and there's going to be a lot of people are going to have moisture in the next 5 to 10 days that I think the ground will absorb it well, and we'll move on from there.
Yeah. Speaking of moisture, you want to look at Drought Monitor?
Absolutely.
So here you go. Stark difference from a month ago, and amazing how fast it keeps creeping back in. I got to get the northern Iowa, southern Minnesota where they were dealing, and I'm not sure if maybe I got the wrong part of Minnesota where the flooding is, but if we're talking record flooding and then the faucet shut off for them, that's tough to see. But amazing. I mean, a month ago, Tommy, there wasn't no yellow in Illinois. And it's amazing how fast it came back. Here's the week on week or 4-week change. And as you can see, it changed quickly, right? We're looking at we had a relatively dry August. And so that I'd say that's the story, right? Soybeans price action doesn't look like it, but is a question that I'm asking: is was the weather good enough to finish a record soybean yield?
Hmm. And what's the long-term effects of this rapid dry down? I definitely see it in the cash markets. We're having a very, very wide basis here coming in the harvest. What's this? Is this from our friends at
Grain Stats put this up,
yeah.
and it's just the amount of corn. I threw sorghum in there, but really corn, soybeans, the amount experiencing drought week on week, up 5% and 7% on soybeans. Um, a big increase, right? I would say on the corn crop, it's probably late enough. The rain was good enough that we can, I'm still a believer in the USDA record yield number, that 183. Right? Time will tell if it gets a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. But yeah, looking at that soybean yield, we'll see, Tommy.
Yeah. Folks, anytime we have great price action like this on a Friday, sometimes people like us wake up, realize the markets are up, but it takes a while for the news to digest. So I'll get off this show, text clients, email clients, let them know, hey, corn's up this much, beans were up 9, they're unchanged. If you need to get stuff done, get it done. You start seeing beans go lower and corn trade down. Corn seems to have a nice bid tagging along. I don't think corn's going to back off till wheat does, but nonetheless, it is a Friday. And can we consider it harvest? Is it harvest started by you or just lightly?
Lightly. I think this rain, I don't know if it's going to keep coming, but I think the rain will put us out maybe over the weekend. I don't know. I think next week is going to be the number, Tommy. I think we'll see more and more soybeans ready, given current prices. And, 2 years ago, if corn was 24, 25%, they're probably going and getting it. Now, I don't think we want to pay those drying costs at the
Oh, good point.
elevator, right? I think maybe be a little bit patient, see if the soybeans turn and go from there. But we are seeing had a few calls this morning. Guys are starting. Definitely corn's being shelled. Haven't heard a whole lot of soybeans being cut in my immediate area. I'm sure there's some maybe that I haven't heard, but I'm going to say harvest is going to start next week, Tommy. That's my
Mhm.
prediction.
What did I say I thought could happen before the end of the show?
Soybeans turn negative.
Correct. A mundo. Soybeans down a half, new lows, 10.10. But we were at 10.21. Corn still holding in there. Nice to see.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Questions, comments? We're going to get out of here early. We got to call clients. We got a couple orders to do. But love that folks are tuning in every day. And
Man, I'm looking, just looking at this corn market, Tommy. I'm staring at March 25, sitting at 429 and a half, high of 431. My gosh, if we're sticking grain in the bin and we want to be hedged up, man, I like that target, Tommy.
yeah, May. I had some target orders in for 445, 450. Haven't hit yet in May, but things change fast. Stay flexible. Yet
Mhm.
quite a divergence here between the beans and the corn. Last night when the markets went up, it was beans were the leader, right? At 8 o'clock, beans went from up 4 to up 9, but in corn was only up 2 or 3. Now beans lower on the day. You never know with these things. They're volatile. There's a lot of people swooshing around here, a lot of money moving around, a lot of people talking about moves in the dollar, and a lot of people overnight talked about the yen, what the yen was doing versus this. As far as the stock market goes, it's doing well, 41,300. Had a client say yesterday that he looked at his retirement account and he thought it would really be down, and then he was shocked at how much it was actually up for the most recent period. So those
Good problem to
markets,
have.
yeah, well, those markets are doing well. Also, when I was at Big Iron, there was some good seminars on land. Land's holding up. It's not screaming higher, but it's not exactly falling apart either up here. And it's good to see our friends who own land. That
Yeah.
definitely is makes them feel good. Interest rates are creeping down. A lot of things moving, a lot of moving parts, and I think we could have a volatile open on Sunday depending on weather, geopolitical risk, what happens, what doesn't. Folks, markets open at 5, not the grains, but the outside markets do. So if something uh, happened, you'd see it in crude. I will say with the stock market rallying so easily today, stock market doesn't feel like something really bad's going to happen, but I've seen crazier stuff happen. So sometimes
Right.
we rally and come in a weekend and we could really gap one way or the other.
Yeah. Anything else we should be looking at for next week? We're gonna have is Fed meeting next week, Tommy?
That's a big one yet.
Yeah.
Currently the market has 4 quarter points priced in here for to the end of 2024. Call it 3, 4. We don't know if they're coming a quarter, a half, 2 halves, 4 quarters, whatever. Just get us a dollar, right? But the bond market's already priced it in. So when you look at 10-year yields and everything else, they have that interest rates have calmed down a lot. But with that, I think we can get out of here, buddy. I got a couple things to do. Tom
Let's do it.
Grisafi, I'm in Mayville, North Dakota today. Connor B. Assumption, Illinois. If you need help,
You're
yes.
dressed for North Dakota. I look. I keep my office hot. I got to tell you. So I look at you and I'm like, my gosh, how's he
No,
in double
it's
layers?
going to be warm here. I'm just in the basement, and yeah, no, I'm good. I had to get dressed up for the show here, so
Sure.
I'm not wearing some crazy sweater or something. But we should have a bad sweater day here sometime on the show. That'd
Oh
be fun.
boy.
All right, let's get out of here, folks. If you got questions or comments, give us a call. We'll see you all on Monday.
Have a good one.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.